This week on the Digital Coffee, that Twitter edit button is finally on its way, but not for everyone. Meta is thinking about charging for some of its advanced features, or maybe a subscription service just like Twitter Blue or the Snapchat subscription. And how does the Facebook and Meta video algorithm work? Find out about that and everything else after this. Good morning, and welcome to the Digital Coffee. This is your weekly dose. I almost forgot my mug of digital marketing and social media news for small business. My name is Amanda Webb. I am an ROI mentor and consultant. What does that mean? That means that I help businesses just like yours make more profit, more money, more return on investment from the time they spend on digital marketing. And before we get started today, just a couple of announcements. Firstly, I want to say how sad I was to hear of the passing of Queen Elizabeth II yesterday. I may live in Ireland now and for the last 27 years, but I grew up in the UK. And the Queen was always a constant. She was always there. And so when I heard of her death, I was sad. It's the end of an era. So if you too are living in the UK, or you too are mourning the Queen today, my thoughts are with you. I've also got something for free for you today. If you would like to access, I thought I clicked all the wrong button then. I got distracted with my sadness. I have recorded a free training session, a free webinar on how you can get the maximum return on investment from your digital marketing, which sounds horrible, but I'm going to take you step by step through the whole process of finding out what's working, what's not working, what you can optimize, what content you should post on social media in under an hour. So the reason I've got this big old QR code on the screen is if you scan that, that will bring you to where you can actually sign up for that training. I'll email you with a pass and it's on demand. So you don't have to write a specific date or time in your diary. You can access it straight away or in your own time. And what you'll get at the end of all this is you'll find out how you can spend less time online, use that time more productively, more strategically, and end up with even better profits. I mean, where can you go wrong with that? The third announcement I have to make is that there is no Twitter space this week making. My co-host is away on a holidays in Corfu, the lucky person. So don't attempt to come and join us on Twitter. Also, next week there will be no show because I'm not going to be here. So there will be no Digital Coffee and there'll be no extra shot on Twitter. We are back in action fully on the 25th of September. So I hope to see you there. Do give us a hello wherever you happen to be watching. I can see we've got Kate there who is drinking tea. There you go, drinking tea. And if you're wondering, why is Kate telling me she's drinking tea? That's because it's traditional on this show to tell me what is in your mug. And that's why I do grasp a mug, hoping it will magically fill with coffee during the show. So do let me know what it is in your mug this morning and where you're watching. Are you on Facebook? Are you on LinkedIn? Are you on YouTube? And without any further ado, I'll grab all my notes and we get on with the news.
Hi, Sasha Lydia from Think Outside the Bot, and you're watching the Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
I'm pressing all the wrong buttons today. I pressed 4 wrong buttons. Rewind. Finally, the thing that everyone has been asking for on Twitter is here. Kind of. The Twitter edit button is currently being rolled out officially. It is in its testing phase. You will need to have a Twitter Blue to access the feature, and that's the paid subscription service from Twitter. So you're actually going to have to pay. You're actually going to have to pay to see this. It's going to assuage a lot of people's fears though, because once people are worried that once tweets could be edited, people could go and edit their Twitter history and change what they said, and then there'd be all the comments afterwards. Some people, some national figures, not mentioning any names, may particularly want to do that, but that's not how it's going to work. When you edit a tweet, there will be a little signal underneath the tweet that will show you that it has, oh, that's the wrong thing. My button pressing is terrible today. There'll be a little notification underneath the tweet to tell you that the tweet has been edited. And when you click that, you will be able to go in, you'll be able to see the edit history. But even more importantly, you're only going to be able to edit the tweet up to 30 minutes after you have posted it. So you won't be able to go back to that tweet that you posted in 2011 and change what you said. That's not going to be possible. You'll also there'll be a limit to the number of times you can edit it within that time. At the moment, it's going to be 5, but Twitter say that's one of the things that they're experimenting with. It's here. You know what? Every time somebody from Twitter posted something, a lot when Jack Dorsey used to post all the time, people would ask for this edit tweet button. It would be constant. We just want an edit tweet button. What happened when they announced this? People started complaining that they didn't want an edit tweet button. I mean, that is the world that we live in now. Anyway, it's coming. It's coming to Twitter Blue, which means I can't access it in Ireland. If you're in the UK, I can see Simon's there. He's in the UK. You won't be able to access it because Twitter Blue is only rolled out in some regions, which includes the United States, Australia, and New Zealand. It is currently being tested in New Zealand to Twitter Blue users, so they're the first people to access it. I actually think this is a good thing because we can edit our posts on other social networks. It seems silly that we can't do it on Twitter, and it seems that they have taken into account a lot of the concerns people have about this Twitter edit. I personally don't think half an hour is long enough, but it's something anyway. Will it be enough to get people to subscribe to Twitter Blue? Well, by the looks of things, 50% of Twitter might, right? Good morning to Simon. Anyway, I can see Simon's over there on LinkedIn drinking tea. He says, obviously, but I'm awake. And I can't read the rest because my eyesight has gone terrible. Okay. And those two things are pretty synonymous. Drinking tea and being awake. Well, yes. I wonder, is there a thing like sleep tea drinking? I wonder, is that actually a thing?
This is Making Sang, first name making from the FOMO Creator, and you have been watching the Digital Coffee Show with Amanda Webb.
Social media channels can no longer rely on just advertising revenue to keep them going, to fund them. It's become quite clear since the Apple privacy updates, but actually privacy updates in general, that this isn't going to be the big income stream for them in the future, or definitely not the only income stream for them in the future. And we've seen social networks already beginning to look at different income sources. One of those, Twitter Blue, which I mentioned, related to the Twitter edit button. That's a subscription service. I think it's $5.99 a month. Snapchat have launched their subscription service where you also get access to tools before they're released to the general public. And I think that's $5.99 or maybe $3.99. That is available in the UK and Ireland, by the way. It's a good one to get on. And that seems to have been successful. A few weeks back, Snapchat talked about, that they got the 1 million subscribers quite quickly, and, it seemed to be taking off. So it's no surprise then that Meta is following. Meta actually sent a memo to its employees last week to tell them that this is a thing that's going to be happening. They're going to launch some sort of paid for services for Meta. So that means across the platforms. They didn't mention Oculus, but they did mention Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. And this could give people, it could either be that you pay per feature, which isn't really a surprise because for those of you that regularly watch the show, you might remember that last year it was clear they were going to charge businesses for some specific WhatsApp tools. Or they may have a subscription service like the others, which would mean that they would have that continuous income coming in. Would you pay to use them? I think there are business tools that people would pay to use. Is there anything on Instagram or Facebook or WhatsApp that a non-business user would pay for? That's my question. The only thing that I could think that is as hot as edit tweet is a chronological feed on Instagram, but you can already get that. So obviously they're not going to charge for that. It's going to be interesting to see what they would put under the umbrella of a paid service.
Hi, I'm Danielle from Webb, and you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
Meta have just published an article that tells you how or what affects the video algorithm across its platforms. And it's interesting reading. It's quite in depth, but I want to give you some of the highlights. And if you are a video creator already, a lot of these will just seem like common sense. You know this stuff already. Firstly, use original content. Don't steal someone else's content. Have content that you have some creative part in. So that could be you hiring a company to make a video for you. As long as it's, unique, that is fine. As long as you're not taking someone else's video, that is fine. Sharing other people's videos isn't going to cut it. I also wonder, when they talk about original content, are things that are created within templates going to be affected by that? So things like, your Canva templates, if you don't edit that enough, is it going to just look like someone else's video, and is that going to count against you? I don't know, but there is the case there for making sure that you're customizing those templates, right? The second thing is keep people watching for longer. Yeah, hello Meta. That's what we do try and do, but they do give us some recommendations on how we can do that. So having a narrative structure in your video that will keep people wanting to watch to see what happens next. Makes sense. The second one was to add captions to your videos, not just for accessibility purposes, but because so many people watch videos with the sound off or want to watch videos with the sound off. If you don't have captions, they may scroll on by after a few seconds. And also look at your quality. Make sure there is good quality video, good quality sound, because if you haven't got that and you haven't made it interesting enough, there's a good chance that people will just want to scroll on or click away onto the next thing. Optimize for search. This is important because this isn't something we tend to think about on social networks quite so much, although it is becoming a bit of a trend now. But make sure that that you're using search terms that people might type into Facebook, into Instagram, in the heading of your video, in the description of your video, and even you can actually tag videos on Facebook, maybe soon on Instagram too. So make sure you're adding the relevant tags so it's easy for that video to get found in search. Something else that's going to be good for getting more distribution is to spark conversations and engagement. So that's something on a normal week. Of course, we've had a different week this week. On a normal week, we'd have lots of people here joining in with the conversation and having conversations amongst themselves as well. So some sort of discussion on your video will mean that you should get more reach, more video views, more engagement. And that's something that's not new, really. That's something that, Facebook have said about their posts in general, or Meta have said about their posts in general. They want conversations going around your content. Spark engagement. Things to avoid. These are surprising actually to me. The first one to avoid is slideshow videos. That's where you have like one photo and it slides onto another photo and it slides onto another. Static images, they're not very engaging. Facebook doesn't like them. And the reason I say it's surprising is these are the sort of videos you can actually create within Creator Studio on Facebook or as part of your ads. So, if you're going to do something with images, you want to be a little bit more creative than just swipe from one to the next, That's going to get you less reach, less engagement, and less views. Avoid pods and inauthentic sharing. So I put the word pods in there. They said inauthentic sharing. When you have your video consistently shared to a number of other pages or other accounts that have no relation to what you do, that's going to flag the Facebook algorithm, the Meta algorithm. That's going to flag the Meta algorithm to say, hey, something inauthentic is going here. So if you're in a pod where you share each other's videos, that's not going to have a good impact on your reach. And don't bait, don't engagement bait. So that would be something like if I said, and I may get engagement baited here, but don't worry, Facebook doesn't show my videos to anyone anymore anyway. If I said, make sure you like this, or make sure you comment on this below, that's what we call engagement baiting. Or give me a thumbs up for a yes and a heart for a no. That's what they call engagement baiting. The second thing is clickbaiting, which, we've heard of. That's when you might write a sensational headline in order to get people to click through. And when you get there, what they see doesn't really deliver on that. Also, watch baiting. So that's where you might start your video with a big, whoa, I'm going to tell you this really big sensational thing, just like the headline, and then you don't really deliver on the video. So just avoid all of that. All of that will have a knock-on bad impact on the algorithm in general. This is, it's kind of nice to have this laid out. Like I say, if you're a video creator already, probably doesn't have much impact, but it's important to know these things if you are trying to get more distribution. But I want to add a few things because I think there's things missing from this article. Firstly, vertical video. Like last week, we looked at the most widely viewed content on Facebook, and it was pretty much all vertical video. So if you are creating, you're going to get more impact with vertical video than you are horizontal video. So make sure you do that. Secondly, short. Make them short. Like there's no point for a non-live video, because that sounds ironic, doesn't it, when I'm doing this. For a non-live video, you want to keep it short and sweet and to the point. Start straight in with what the video is going to be about, so people will be able to know whether this is a video that they actually want to watch. And make sure you're hitting some emotional triggers. That's important too, because otherwise it's a bland and boring video that people really have no value in to share. I see Simon's got a comment there. So I'm going to make it bigger, I think. Can I make it bigger? I can't read anymore. Okay, I get that they're describing best practice, but how the hell are you going to... I'm putting my glasses on, that's it. How the hell are you going to monitor that for their algorithm? So I'm wondering which particular part that was related to, Simon. I think... So if it's the pod thing, it's totally going to be related on if the same people are sharing each other's content, they can totally find out what's going on there. And if it's going to a page that is otherwise it would be irrelevant for. So if I started sharing cooking demos on my Facebook page, I think people might wonder what was going on. And the same if a cooking demo page started sharing social media news, people might wonder what's going on there. Not sure about everything else. Engagement baiting. Tell me what it was, Simon, and I'll answer it. Plus, I will put my glasses on to answer it this time because it's getting ridiculous, isn't it? Why can't I see today? Why can't I see today? It's weird.
I'm Ant McGinley, and you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
Instagram shopping hasn't been the success that Instagram were expecting because way back like 2 years ago when the pandemic was with us, suddenly everyone wanted to shop online. And in fairness, the social networks all jumped on this. They gave small businesses for free the access to shops, to product tagging. I mean, we all thought, and they thought, that e-commerce was going to be the future of the world. We weren't going to go to shops anymore. Shops? Why would I go into a disease-ridden shop? Or that's what they thought it was going to be. But there's been a downturn on e-commerce. Since lockdowns have finished, people are actually going back into shops. I'm going back into shops. There's nothing nicer really than going into a shop and having a browse, is there? So e-commerce, social shopping hasn't taken off in the way that they expected. And we saw this from Meta. We saw that on Facebook, they're not going to continue with their live shopping project, which was something they only launched last Christmas. And now it seems that Instagram are going to take their foot off the pedal for their shopping. So you may remember not so long ago, Instagram were pushing even more product tagging. This was stuff that you were going to be able to do. They were making it easier for me as just a regular person to tag products in other people's shops and for creators and influencers to do the same. There was a shop tab. There is a shop tab on Instagram. It looks like that's going to go and people will just have to advertise if they want their products to appear, or they'll have to put their products in reels on Instagram, to be honest, if you want to get them seen. So it could be the beginning of the end for social shopping. What does this mean in general? Well, people are still buying online, just not maybe to the level that they were buying during the pandemic. And to me, that's not a surprise. I couldn't wait to get back into a shop, you know. I do buy stuff online, but I also like to go to shops. So people are still buying, even if those social networks are abandoning their push on social shopping. Websites are still going to be there selling stuff. And this week alone, I bought something from a website from a small retailer in Dublin so that I didn't have to drive there and get it. So I don't think social shopping, e-commerce is completely over, but it looks like Meta don't really want to invest in it. Now, Simon has written a really long comment. Here's my glasses. I'm so glad I got them around my neck. That's all I can say. Okay. So we were talking about the problems with, I'm going to take that away from my face so you can see that. So we were talking about the Meta's algorithm and its video algorithm. Pod stuff and linking is easy. I can see that, how they see that. But unless you monitor content, how can they know if you're, well, they do monitor content. That's the thing, Simon, they do. It used to be a case of it was only in the caption. You could get away with stuff with a video. In a video, if I said hit the like button or like or comment, you could totally get away with breaking the rules. But now they do. It's not like a human being. And we've talked about the problem with their AI. They have an AI that will listen through the video and listen to stuff like that. So that's why I'm saying, one of the other things I didn't mention that will get you a decrease in reach as well is if you mention things like YouTube or LinkedIn. Like if you mention that early on in the video specifically, hello, I'm streaming on LinkedIn and YouTube like I do, that will get you a decrease of reach on Facebook because they don't like you talking about those other social networks. So it is interesting. And yeah, there's no way of getting out of it now. You can't hide your clickbaiting and engagement baiting within a video like you used to be able to, which is sad. Who have I got next?
Hey, I'm Christine Gritman, and you are watching The Digital Coffee with social media superstar Amanda Webb.
Messenger groups are kind of cool for some things. So I like to use messenger groups if I'm going to a conference, specifically social media marketing world. Let me know if I'm going to see you there. But I use them a lot there to bring together groups of people that I know are going to be there. So I'm not wandering around on my own. So I always have someone to meet for breakfast or lunch so that I can meet up with people in the conference and have a chat and have a meeting. I really love them for that. Also, you know, I haven't seen this done well, I have to say, but there is the opportunity for a business to run a messenger chat group and have maybe that reward their most loyal customers there. You know, that could be a place where they give them special offers or early access to tools without charging for them. Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, you know, that could be a use for messenger groups. But there is a problem. And the problem is it's hard to add people to messenger groups. You have to be a friend with them, or you have to invite a friend of theirs that is a friend of yours to invite them, which is a bit of a pain. But not anymore, because they are releasing the option to create a link, and you can do this in WhatsApp already. Create a link for your messenger chat group that you will be able to share in other places. So for example, I might set up a chat group for people who are in Andrew and Pete's Atomic that are going to social media marketing world. I'd set that group up and I could share it then in the Atomic group so people could join who were coming along. And this will work cross-platform. As you know now, you can have chats that span both Facebook and Instagram. It could be even better for businesses, because that having to friend someone to add them to a group really isn't a good thing for business. So it could make it a lot easier to send that out to your loyal customers and get them to join, all within chat. However, use it cautiously. It's one of those things like the everyone tag that popped up on Facebook a little while ago. Chat groups aren't a place for you to spam people and get them to share information about your business. That's not what they're for. If you're creating a chat group, one, Close it when it's finished, unless you're going to come back to it, because people will tend to, it's like being in a WhatsApp group that goes on and on and on and on. So maybe close your chat group when you finish with it. And secondly, if you have got one for loyal customers, make sure you're just giving them stuff. It's not about asking them to share. It's about giving them stuff, early access to stuff. But I do think this is a very positive update.
Hi, I'm Lee from Wellshot and you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb. Cheers.
How can you optimize your content for Instagram search? Well, there's a few ways that may spring to mind. Obviously, hashtags. We know now that hashtags aren't as effective as they used to be. People aren't really using them so much for search, but that's because Instagram search got better. So now you can actually type something into Instagram and it's a search engine. You don't need to put hashtag on. It will show you posts related to that search term. So putting keywords in your captions, making sure your photo is or your video is about the topic that people will search for. Putting keywords in your captions. I'm just going to keep saying that. Write long captions that include keywords and key phrases that people might search on Instagram. And now it looks like you'll be able to add topics to reels. This was spotted by, who is it spotted by? Amanda cannot, I'm going to have to start wearing glasses. Jackie Pitcow, who is a social media enthusiast, spotted this, and it looks like you're going to soon be able to, I can't yet, it's not on my account, but you will soon be able to add topics when you upload a video. What's interesting to me here is, just see that. See that little symbol for topics? It's got a hashtag inside it. So how are these topics going to be selected? Will you select for a list? Will you make your own? Will they be hashtags? All these things we're yet to find, but it could mean that your videos are easier for people to find in search, and that can only be a good thing.
Hi, I'm Charlie Lawrence and you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
One of the reasons I'm not a fan of posting links in comments on LinkedIn is that those links, you're making people do work to go and find the link in the comments, because the way that LinkedIn organizes comments or shows people the comments read, the link can easily get hidden. But also, on a completely different note, LinkedIn comments can be pretty great. I mean, look at that one that Simon left. Some very long and wonderful comments. Thank you, Simon. Really appreciate that. And people do spend time crafting really insightful and helpful comments, which can also get lost in the LinkedIn comment feed. Which is why, for both of those reasons, I think this latest update for LinkedIn, and it's official now, it wasn't official when I started writing about it, but it's official, you will be able to pin comments to the top of your comment feed, which totally solves both of those problems. I think this is a good thing. Having said that, it's not really going to solve the problem that, 4 times I logged into LinkedIn the other day, and each time it had prioritized the post at the top because a friend had commented on it, and all I saw was the comment from the friend. So it's not going to win everything, but it is going to make sure that the right comments that you want people to see are at the top of the feed. And if you choose the right comments, you will be able to get more engagement on your posts. So when I get this, Simon's wonderful comments are going right to the top. And that is it for the digital coffee for today. This is actually my last task before I go on my holidays. You can see I'm all ready for some sunshine already. Where am I going? You'll have to follow me somewhere, and I'll share some news from the places that I'm at. But that means I will not be here the same bat time, same bat place next week. I will be here the same bat time, the same bat place on September the 25th. Until then, bye-bye.